Hey, welcome back to the ESCAPECAST, where we talk about travel, freedom, escaping the rat race, and overall, redefining your life. And today I'm talking about an article on the Daily Herald. And the title of the article is According to a Study, Americans are retiring later, dying sooner, and are sicker in between. Wow, what a cheerful bit of news to begin your day with. So, as the article points out, data released recently suggests Americans' health is declining, and millions of middle aged workers face the prospect of shorter and less active retirements than their parents enjoyed. So, obviously, this is kind of a shitty article to read. It basically says that, we're all statistically more fucked than our parents' generation, and that's something that a lot of us folks in the 18 to 35 plus age range is already quite familiar with. But I think with any article like this, it's always a good idea to read between the lines and not just use it as an excuse to go, oh no, we're all screwed, that little bit of fear porn that so many of us are addicted to. It's good to keep reading and figure out exactly, what's going on here. And in this study, there's some hypotheses by researchers that talks about why this might be happening. And some of the big culprits appear to be the usual suspects: obesity, alcohol use, drug abuse. And I also think it's possible to go a little bit deeper than that and find out why those things are happening. And I think it has a lot to do with more common culprits such as anxiety, depression, unhappiness, stress. The question is why is that happening? How can you avoid it? And what can be done in your life that you don't end up a part of this statistic? Now, there's a lot to unpack here. Okay, so I have my own ideas about retirement. I think retirement itself is a little bit of a misnomer. It's one of those things where some people call it a life deferment, which is, work like a horse until you're 65, and then you can go enjoy your golden days on cruise ships, eating shrimp cocktails, and, going down to the Caribbean and hanging out with all your other senior friends. And I think, by that time, there'll be a lot of like fun Wi-Fi LAN parties happening, people playing Battlefront or Battlefield or whatever, because once our generation gets to that age, I think it's going to be lots of people playing video games, whereas the generation now in their 60s, 70s, 80s, people just watch a lot of Matlock and play bingo. But I think once I'm in this age group, when I'm on cruise ships, it's going to be a little bit more fun. But I digress. What I see is people who are very inspiring, who don't, quote, retire. People who maintain their passion, their hobbies, and maybe they're still making money at it, but it doesn't matter, because at that point, I think that it's everybody's prerogative to find out what they enjoy doing and be able to keep doing it, because that keeps the blood flowing in their veins. So your job, whatever it is you do, your career, it shouldn't be something that's so shitty that you're just waiting until you can stop doing it. I mean, if you're an artist, keep making art. Spend all that time that you're working finding ways to not have to worry about monetizing what you enjoy. So, I know people who, amazing like filmmakers. I know people involved even in more traditional jobs like finance or real estate, but they're in their 70s doing it, and they don't have to do it. A buddy of mine has millions of dollars, and he could absolutely retire from his career in real estate, but that career in real estate is something that provides a lot of fun, happiness, and meaning to him, especially because he's one of the best in the field. So, I would definitely not suggest for that guy to retire, because I think if he retired, he'd be dead in about a year and a half. So that being said, retirement aside, why are people depressed? Why are people unhappy? Well, this goes back to, deep cultural problems in the West. This article is about issues affecting Americans. This is a Western country. I don't know if these same issues affect people in Southeast Asia, if they affect people in Central East Europe, if they affect people in South America. We don't know. But I do notice that Americans, by and large, are not making any great effort to get out of the box, change their way of thinking, You just pursue low stress versus high money, prioritizing their health and happiness. Instead, what I see, especially out here in Los Angeles, is people picking up second jobs, third jobs, fourth jobs, and just, maintaining that lifestyle of not caring about your own happiness at all, and then just prioritizing making money and trying to keep your head above water. A very scarcity-based mindset about work and life. And that's not really the way to do it either. So I don't think this article is something to be paranoid about. I think what we need to do is just look at this objectively and realize that what we have to do is think about our happiness before we think about what kind of career is going to, lead to the best 401k, the best retirement plan, or you're going to, make the most money, because there's always a trade-off. So you can be making six figures, but if you're so miserable that it's bringing you to alcohol, it's bringing you to drugs, it's bringing you to obesity, then what is it really worth? Like, what's the price? I mean, you get some really bad medical bills, and if your insurance fucks you over, which happens a lot in my country, in America, then, if you've made $500,000 at your job and then you have to have open heart surgery and that costs you $400,000, then how much of a good deal is it really? So if you can take some time out and think about what is actually going to be something that is valuable beyond just the monetary value, and think about that in relation to your life, right? So, if you're working 80 hours a week and that stress is just killing you, I don't care how much money you're making, it's not worth it. If you're making $25,000 a year, but your job is fun and full of happiness and everyone's having a good time, and you don't dread going to work, then I'm gonna say that job is more valuable than the prior one. Unless you value fucking golden curtain rods and material goods above your own health and happiness. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't pursue wealth. I'm saying that you need to have both. You should be pursuing wealth and happiness. So if you're making a lot of money but you're miserable, then you're still failing. If you really want to succeed, you should be out there trying to make a lot of money so you have abundance, and on top of that, be thinking real hard about your lifestyle, and if the money you're making is sucking your soul away. And I've known some amazing people who have businesses or jobs that are completely fulfilling, and they're also making huge amounts of money. And I think from a position like that, there's a lot of responsibility to help other people out. And I've even done it to a small extent. Like, look, I'm not rich, but my businesses and my work are both completely attuned to happiness first, and I'm still making, an okay amount of money, all considering what types of things I do. And some of my money is even passive, and it's taken me a lot of work to get to that point. But man, it's just way better than anything. Like maybe in some years I'm only making 30-40 grand a year, but to me, like, it's such a my lifestyle is so low stress that it feels that feels perfect to me. I don't care if at the end of the day my IRA account's not going to be as big as the next guy's, because I'm not trying to keep up with the Joneses. All right, well, that's about it for this episode. I just wanted to rant a little bit about that. I suppose in summary, what we're looking at is studies are showing that people are more sick, more unhealthy, retiring later, and that is sad. A lot of this is preventable, and so we're on a downward decline. But you don't have to go down that ship. Just stay smart and think about your lifestyle first and foremost. Well, that's it for today. This is Cyrus Kirkpatrick. You're listening to the ESCAPECAST, where I will speak about daily issues concerning work, life, travel, philosophy, and my own adventures as I go back abroad. In about 110 days from now, I finally pick up my bags and I head back to, at this point, it's going to be Indonesia. And from Indonesia, I'll be heading north into places like Malaysia, Brunei. Very excited about that. I can't wait until those 110 days are up, because I'm just about done with living in LA. But until that time, I'll be here making this little podcast to whoever is out there listening on YouTube. Based on my current views and subscriptions, I'm seeing that there's not that many people out there, but if you like what I have to say, then you can help fix that problem a little bit. And you can punch like, you can hit subscribe, and hopefully what I have to say is going to be able to help you in some way. Until next time, this is Cyrus Kirkpatrick.